So I believe that it's dangerous for the government to have the power to execute citizens, mainly for the reason that people can be found innocent later on when there was no evidence at the time to suggest that they were. Also, in that I believe that we should, in a way, move away from punitive criminal justice and perhaps move towards not necessarily fully rehabilitation, but looking at why people commit crime as opposed to just locking them up or killing them in certain cases.
Okay, so I'll start with the second question first, and then we can get to capital punishment. So when it comes to rehabilitative measures attempted on a general level have generally been a failure. The vast majority of criminals become recidivists when you let them out. So the giant crime drop that the United States saw between 1993 and 2010 until it started to rise again, that was almost solely due to greater police presence, better community policing, increase in lockup. It was so funny, like the New York Times ran a headline, crime rate goes down despite higher incarceration. You're like, wait, despite? Like, it turns out when you put criminals in jail, they're not out committing crime. So, I agree that there are things that we can do to prevent crime before crime happens, but once somebody has committed a crime, it's going to be rare, not impossible. I mean, there's probably 20 to 30% of people who commit a crime and then get out and do fine. But the recidivism rate is incredibly high, particularly for violent crime and for property crime as well. So yes, locking people up does help. Again, best solution, create cultures that prevent people being locked up. As far as capital punishment, so I agree with the notion that the system of capital punishment is deeply flawed. But the logic of the argument that we can't execute people because they might be innocent is an argument that in law school they would say proves too much, because the same is true about jailing people. You can make the exact same argument. How could you deprive somebody of 10 years of their freedom when they could be innocent? Why not just let everybody go? And the answer is that if you have a criminal justice system, you have to trust that the criminal justice system, if it is fair, is going to come up with the correct result. That is not always the case, obviously. And I guess the case would be, well, it's not irreconcilable if they're in jail for 40 years and then you let them out, then you've at least salvaged something. That seems to me a relatively weak case, particularly when you're talking about the cases that generally get the death penalty, right? The cases that generally get the death penalty are people raping and murdering small children. And do I think those people deserve to die? Yes, I think those people deserve to die. If I could kill them, bring them back to life, and kill them again, I would.
People like me from previous months, okay? Total control. Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, 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 bong, bing, bing, bong. When Mexico sends its people